Okay, so we are officially recording. It is 7:40 on 10/10 of 22. This is the beginning of week 3 of business math for everyone. Welcome. I appreciate everyone for showing up. We're going to start off with this video from the ITT class that shows a real good explanation of order of operations. I think it may help. So that will be a good thing. And I'm sharing my screen. I will share my sound because sometimes I forgot to do that. And let's roll.
Foundation,
Everybody can
creating
hear that, right?
opportunities for a better life.
Yes.
Functions are a great time-saving option for calculating data in your worksheet. They can be used in place of formulas when a formula would be too long or just too complicated to write out manually. To access the function library, go to the Formulas tab on the ribbon. Here you'll find
Guys, I think I may be wrong. It was the other video. Sorry. Try this again.
Goodwill Community Foundation, creating opportunities for a better life.
You may already have some experience creating simple formulas that have only one type of operation. But sometimes you have to create more complex formulas that do have more than one operator, for example, addition and multiplication. To do this correctly, you'll need to understand how Excel is calculating the answer. When solving formulas, Excel uses a set of rules called the order of operations, which you might remember from math class. The order of operations determines the order in which the formula will be calculated, so you know exactly how to write it out. The first thing that's calculated are any equations in parentheses. Then, if you have any exponents, you'll calculate those. Next is multiplication and division. And finally, addition and subtraction. Excel knows to use the order of operations whenever it calculates a complex formula. It's important that you remember it so you can create formulas that'll give you the correct answer. To remember the order, you can just use the acronym PEMDAS. Or to make it even easier, remember the phrase, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." Let's take a closer look at some examples. In this formula, 5 plus 2 is in parentheses, so we'll calculate that first to get 7, and then we can just multiply 3 times 7 to get 21. This formula contains an exponent, 3 to the power of 2. We'll need to calculate that first, and then we can do the addition. If you have multiplication or division, that'll come next. Here we multiply 2 times 4 to get 8, and 9 minus 8 equals 1. Now multiplication and division are considered to be on the same level. That means if you have both of them in your formula, they're calculated from left to right. In this example, we'll do the division first, and then the multiplication. If we wanted the multiplication to happen first, we could just put it in parentheses, or we could rearrange the formula so the multiplication was on the left. Finally, we have addition and subtraction. Just like multiplication and division, these are on the same level, so we'll calculate them from left to right. Okay, now let's put them all together. This formula may look really complicated, but we're just going to go step by step through the order of operations, and you'll see that it's really not that bad. We'll start with the parentheses. We'll calculate each of these to get 2 and 3. And as you can see, the formula's already starting to look a bit simpler. Next, we'll look to see if there are any exponents in this formula. There is one, 2 to the second power. When we calculate it, it becomes 4. Next, we'll do the multiplication and division, going from left to right. And now all that's left is addition. And that gives us our answer, which is 8.75. And that's the same answer Excel would give you if you entered that formula in your worksheet. Now I'm going to show you why it's so important that you follow the order of operations every time. If you don't, your formulas won't give you the correct answer. In this example, I'd like to add these 3 values and find out how much the sales tax will be. I'll start by typing the equal sign, which is how you always start a formula. Then I'll calculate D3 plus D4 plus D5. Next, I'll multiply by 0.075, which is the tax rate at 7.5%. Now, this may look like it's going to give us the correct answer, but it's not. That's because we didn't follow the order of operations. Remember, multiplication comes before addition, so Excel is going to multiply D5 by 0.075 first. Then it'll add D3 and D4, which isn't what we want. We want these three values to be added first. So to do that, we just need to put them in parentheses. Parentheses are often the best way of controlling which parts of the formula are calculated first. And when this formula is calculated, we can see that the answer is $20.56. Writing complex formulas really isn't that difficult once you know how they work. Just remember to use the order of operations and you'll get the correct answer every time.
Now, I know that had to do with Excel, and we're not there yet. I don't know if any of you actually had that class or not. I haven't, but it does give us a good explanation of the order of operations, and I think that can be a big help. You know, they explained it a little better than I did. So did that help at all? Was that a better explanation, kind of a little more clear for everybody? Yeah, I can do that. So let me find that link again, and I will post it in the chat. Who asked me for that? That was Dara. Nice, Dara. Good looking out. Now, let's see. Oh, nope, just pause.
Goodwill Community.
All right, and there we go. And like I said, I know that has to do with Excel, but I think, like I said, I thought it was a really, when I showed it again, oh, puppy. When I showed it again to my other class, I said I need to integrate this back in this class because it just feels like a really good visual explanation of how we should do it, and you know how it can make our lives a little bit easier. Now we are in chapter 7, 8, and 9 this week, I believe. It was chapter 8.
And we are.
7, chapter
This is
7.
complete-
So there's the one.
This is completely random, but Mr. Diamond, I don't think you saw my message, but I'm late, but I'm here. I mean, I said that.
Oh, yeah, I did see. I'm sorry, I didn't say anything,
Okay.
but
It's okay.
I did catch it while the video was going. I'm sorry, and I marked you down.
It's okay.
So, all right. So this is invoices, trading, cash discounts. I'm not going to spend any time over finding information on the invoices because number one, every invoices are all similar, but they're all slightly different. Where they put the salesman or the address or the invoice number be different from one company to another. So I'm not going to get into that. But what I'd like to get into is, well, if we look at this one here, it says complete the following. We'll see the what we have going on here. Basically, what we need to do is multiply the quantity by the unit price, and that's going to give us our total over to the side. Okay, that's what they did. And then your invoice subtotal, one thing you need to remember is your invoice subtotal is going to be just whatever you bought added up. It's not going to include shipping. or taxes or anything else. It's just going to be the total the items that are put in there. And if anybody's ever dealt with invoicing before, that's pretty, everybody knows that. You know, I don't think too many people haven't. So that's a pretty easy one. Okay, trade discount. Now, I used to work for a company called Hoydell, PB Hoydell. They're no longer in Tulsa. They closed that branch down, and but they had a branch here in Tulsa, and they had one in Wichita, Kansas, and Oklahoma City. And we used these trade discounts very regularly because what they would do is they would send us catalogs and they would send us retail price lists, what retail price was. And then depending on your sales from the year before, depending on what your discount structure was. So when we cut a purchase order for them, we had to know what our discount was, and then we would cut the purchase order for that amount. So they didn't actually give us our pricing. We never had a list of our pricing. We knew what our discount structure was with that company. We knew what the retail price was, and we had to figure it out on our own. Now, just like on this one here, and I know you guys that show up are getting a little bit of extra. Here you get to see kind of how the answers are, to look at them. Doesn't mean your numbers will be the same. Some of them may be. I'm not too worried about this. I'm just more worried about you seeing the content. So if you have a percentage and you need to move it to a decimal so you can actually work with it mathematically, remember, you move that decimal over 2 places to the left. So what they did is take 165.50 times 0.12, and that gave them $19.86 on their discount. Now let's look at what we're looking at that here.
How to make our bed.
And of course, I'm gonna pull up a spreadsheet because that makes it a whole lot easier. Well, come on, Steve, act like you've computered before. There we go. So it was 165.50, and then it was 12% on the discount. So we're going to multiply one times the other. That times that. Now, that's 1986, and I don't always remember here. Okay, so that was nice, even 1986. We didn't have to worry about rounding, right? So it became $19.86. It was automatically 2 places beyond. Let's see if we have one here. So we take the 287, and let's turn this into money. And then, of course, we're going to call this one a percentage. That's why I love Excel so much. And the answer is going to be money. All right, so 287, our discount is 25%, 0.25. Okay, 71.75. Now it goes ahead and rounds it for us in money, but let's look and see if on this particular one. Nope, that one came out even too. Wow. Now, that's your discount. This is the amount of your discount. So in order to know what your price is going to be, off, as opposed to list price or retail, we take this one and subtract the discount. We take our list price minus our discount, 215.25. We see that's what we get. Okay. Pretty self-explanatory stuff. Now, the reason it's going to get a little more complicated, this brings up net price factor. This is how you skip past figuring the discount, subtracting it. You do it all in one shot. Your net price factor is the number you multiply the price by to get your price. And it is simply And since we're working with these here a little bit, this is our list price. This is our discount. Discount rate. This is our actual discount in dollars. And this is going to be our net price. Oh, doggone it, man. All right, so we know what we're looking at here. And then we're going to put another one here, which is going to be our net price factor. And that is simply 100%, which is 1, if we do it in the decimal form, minus our discount rate. Which is 75%. That one's pretty easy. And how do we know it works? Well, I can double check. We know we took the list price, figure out the discount, subtract the discount from the net price. We know what that is. But if I take my list price and multiply it times my net price discount or net price factor, I should get my net price again. See, so we just avoid a whole lot of calculation there once we set it up. Okay. Now, what we're going to get into here next, and let's look. They gave us a list price of $34.99. They gave us a trade discount of 36%, 0.36. And we end up with the same thing. All right. 64% here. And we like it. Now, this is going to get a little more complicated because you can have levels in your discounts, depending on what your sales were from the year before. And that's what we dealt with at a couple of companies I was at. I'm getting a little dry. Is depending on what your sales were at the year before. So if you did $100,000 in sales the year before, you know, from $0 to $100,000, they would give you like a 25% discount. But if you did between $101,000 and $250,000, they would give you an extra 15% discount. And then if you did over $250,000, they might give you an extra 10% discount. So it would set up a discount. They would call it 25, a 15, and a 10. And the deal is you can't add those together. It doesn't mean you get 25 plus 15 plus 10, which would be 25, 35, 40, 50% discount. Okay. What you get is you get 25% discount. And then on that amount, after the 25%, you get to get a 15%. After that amount, you figure out you get another 10%. So it's like staggered. And you'll see why it doesn't really work here in a moment. Okay, so once again, and we'll get into that in a minute, they want you to know what the trade discount in dollars and trade discount rate is if you get the net price. Okay, so your trade discount, we take our list price minus the net price, we know what our actual discount in dollars is going to be. Your trade discount rate going to be your dollar amount of your account over your list price. Okay, and let's do that really quick. And they give it to you here. So what is that? 965 divided by 4,500. Okay, so if we bring that out, see where those fours just keep going on and on and on and on. Now, in order to change this into a percentage, we move our decimal place over two places. So then it becomes 21.444444 on forever, right? Well, they're going to have you cut off. At some point, you can't just keep going on forever. What they ask for here is they say round your answer to the nearest 1/10 of a percent. So that's to the nearest whole number, to the nearest 1/10 of a percent, but 21.4. And the reason it doesn't move up is because the next number over is less than 5, right? So this number remains the same. Let's see here. So any questions on that? I know we're moving a little quick, but I'm trying to get to the real meat and potatoes of some of it. Boutique buys some merchandise for $3,400, and they extend a 30% trade discount rate. Find the trade discount in dollars. Okay, so that just becomes 30%, and they give you this whole thing where the decimal is equal to the percent divided by 100. Just move it over 2 places. Just move the decimal over 2 places. We don't want to get too complicated. Move the decimal over 2 places, multiply it here. That's what you get. Easy peasy. Okay. Once again, $4,700. Our trade discount rate is 30%, which means our net price factor is 70%. So I can either take this times the 30%, take whatever my number there is, subtract from here, or I can multiply this number by 0.7, and I'm going to get the same answer. Yeah, I'm going to skip through some of this. Here we go. This is where it gets a little complicated. They're giving you, yep, but it's not that bad, especially if you have a spreadsheet and we learn how to work that. They give us a trade discount rate of 22, 15, and 5. Now, what that means, and we're going to kind of do it the long way here, is $475.20. Call that money. And our discount is 22%. So what we do is we take that plus that times that, and that is our 22% discount from that. Okay. Now we have to take our list price minus that there, and that gives us 370.66 left. Our next level of discount is 15%. So now we take this new lower price, multiply those together. Now I get a $59 or $55.60 discount, where here I got 105. So now I go take this one once again, subtract that discount, and our last rate is 5%. Let's turn all these into money as well. So our total discount is going to be those 3 discount structures added up together. So we're going to get $175.90 discount off that, which means our price is going to be our original price minus our total number of discounts. So that becomes $299.30. All right. This does not equal to, was it 22, 32, 37, 42? That does not equal to 42%. And we're going to see why here in just a moment. So our net price factor on this, I'm gonna grab these and move them over, is going to be 100% minus that percentage. I'm gonna do it for all three of these. Okay. So if they're discounting it this much, our net price factor is going to be 78%, 85, 95%. And the way you find those, you multiply those three together. Okay. So what you're actually getting is your net price factor, total net price factor here is going to be 62.99%, which means our total discount, if we had a total trade discount rate, 37.02%. Okay. And what did we say this could have been if we added it up? 22, 37, 42. So if you add it up, it would be 42, but what we're actually getting is a 37% discount over the total there. And like I said, they use these to they stagger these discounts for a purpose. And like I said, I just pulled numbers out of my head that I remember from back in the day, which would be, if I sold 0 to 100, if I'm a vendor for an equipment company, like we were an oil equipment company, if I sold from 0 to $100,000 last year, I got a 22% discount. If I sold from 100 to 199,000, to 101 to 200,000, whatever the breakover was, they would add a 15% discount. And then if I sold over $250,000, they would give me another 5% discount. So they would use that as an incentive so the more I sold the year before, the more of a discount I got the coming up year. And that's how they do it. And that, gives me, so by them adding on those discounts, I went from a 22% discount to a 37. And that is, I dealt with that for years and years and years and years. And once again, you would know your structure, 22, 15, and 5. And so you would get a list price. You got a price list that had list pricing on it. And then when you would order stuff, you would have to know what to order. Now, if you cut your purchase order and it was wrong, of course, they would come back and say, hey, you got the pricing wrong on this item, and that item, and you have to go back and change your purchase order. Once again, depending on where you work and what the procedures are, that could be a real problem, or it could just be a matter of few keystrokes. And when we were back in the old days with that company, we were using an AS500 was our server. And so once you set a purchase order, once you finalized a purchase order to order something, it was really, really difficult to change the numbers in it. They made it purposely difficult. Other companies I had, that was not a big deal. But there, once you cut the purchase order, once you put purchase order out, it was a real pain to have to go back in and change that purchase order. So this is all just, okay, so once again, so we have our net price factor. That is the number we multiply our list price by to get our price. This equivalent discount is going to be 1 minus whatever this is, which gives us our discount rate. And if you notice, which it goes without saying, add those things up, that should be 100%, right? So all your little double checks work here. So here they gave us a 20, a 16, and a 15. 0.2, 0.16, 0.15. So see, it's 20, 36, 51. So if you add those together, that'd be 51% discount, but that's not what they are, right? You're actually getting a 42.88% discount. And let's extend these numbers out. Yep. So your discount is actually between the 20, the 16, and 15 is 42.88% discount, which makes your net price factor 0.5712. How do we feel about that? It feels like we went through it really fast. It was kind of complicated and ugly, right?
Yeah, but it was okay.
Any questions on that one?
Nope.
And of course, you can always go back and look at this video again and see how we got it. So they give you one here, and they give you a list price. So let's look here. They give you a 33, a 15, and a 5. Well, 0.33, 0.15, 0.05. Okay. So that gives us our net price factor of 54.103%. 54.1025. They rounded it off there. Okay. Single equivalent discount 0.4590, 0.4589. So they rounded up there as well. Okay. So if our price is $630.70, I'll multiply this times this. That gives me my net price of $341.23. I'll take some cheesecake. Did I hear cheesecake?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I want some now. You got to deliver.
Yeah.
And then the same thing here. I multiply that times my list price. And so my trade discount here is going to be $289.47. And right here, I've got $289.48. So you can see the difference that can come up by using a spreadsheet or a calculator, but we're really, really, really close. And the 45897. Let me look here. See, and what happens is Excel sees this all the way out to here. That's the number it's using. Same thing here. Excel brings that number out. So Excel sees these numbers out a little bit farther. And so that may be the difference of a penny. So if you do get one of these wrong for some reason, I start looking for pennies and see if there's a rounding error somewhere. So, okay, so once again, we go here. Catering company buy some items with a list price of $3,000. If the trade discount is 35, 30, and 5, that's a big one. 0.35, 0.30, 0.05. And they say, find the net price using the net price factor, complete a complement method. So we got the same thing here. And remember, once again in Excel, oh, no, that's a good one. Excel sees it farther out, but since there's nothing but zeros there at the end, then we don't have to worry about that. So doing what we did here, we were able to figure out our net price. And that's a big discount. I mean, our discount is what, almost 50, it was 56.78%. That's well over half. That's, you don't see that too often.
Mm-mm.
single equipment discount, trade discount. Okay, we can do all these now. Now remember, when you go to do these, and you won't see it on here, that there's the Ask the Teacher button. And I was a little slow for some of you guys to reply this weekend. Sorry about that. I was once again in Missouri, and I have to drive all the way into town, into the big city, to a McDonald's so I can use their Wi-Fi. Hopefully, they're supposed to drop fiber at my mom's house here in the next week or two. Once I get that done, if I am out of town at her house, keep an eye on her, I'll have a little better availability of internet. She has the satellite internet now, and it is just terrible. I will, it's the most terrible thing ever.
Let me guess, HughesNet? Yeah, they actually belong to Dish Network. It's a nightmare.
It is. And she said, well, I called them and they were supposed to make some changes and made it better. It didn't make it better. I don't know.
No, they say they do. Sometimes they mention that there's like no limit on the internet, but it's not true. They do actually they're setting up a cap on the usage. And if it's satellite, if you have trees around your house, forget it. You're not gonna get any reception. Or just a cloud, a small rainy cloud, and you're done.
And she can't do it. She can't stream any video, so she can't do Netflix or Amazon Prime or the other stuff. And so she's stuck with actual Dish Network TV, which is, you know, whatever's on, commercials, whatnot. I hate going over there watching TV. Plus, all she watches is NCIS and some foot doctor things. So, because she's, you know, elderly woman. Has anybody seen the foot doctor thing where people come in with their feet are all jacked up and they do surgery on them? It is horrifying.
I bet.
I work
had
in
to go-
dermatology, and you should see some of like the cysts and everything that people come in with. It's pretty gnarly.
I will pass on that offer, Alicia, because that just sounds, use the greatest word, gnarly. People come in with like hammer toes and weird things, and they do surgeries and they show it. It's, and my mom loves that
It's
show.
gross.
I watch it through my fingers like this.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
stick
like
with
Dr.
my
Pimple
ink master.
Yeah, I had to run in town and get a fifth of Johnny Walker Black to put myself asleep so I wouldn't have nightmares.
She doesn't have an option just to buy the antenna and plug it in and just have free TV.
Yeah.
I know they don't have much on there, but
Yeah, but she likes, you know, because she watches, you know, some other stuff. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but for the most part, it's old people shows.
there's
So
like an internet come home fi. Apparently there's like wireless high-speed home internet.
well, also she lives in a bowl as well. She don't get a good internet signal or a good ink master. Nice. But they're dropping fiber. I'm gonna have her hooked up with Amazon Prime and Netflix and everything. She'll have stuff to watch till the cows come home. All right, let's see if there's anything else on this particular one. See, we're doing the same thing over and over again. There's our trade discount rate, net price factor, net price. Just pay attention to what they're asking you for. I'm going to pull up the next one. Okay, and this is more chapter 7 stuff. Once again, where do you find information? This one here, they're going to have you adjusting the invoices if you have to send things back, if things come in defective or don't show up. So, and that's pretty stuff. They also have early payments accounts, which we used to work with as well. So they would send you a bill and say, okay, this is your bill, $100. whatever it might be, sends you your invoice. And a lot of times they'll say, you know, they would tell us take 3% off if you pay within the next 7 days, things of that nature. So they also give you an early payment discount because they want you to pay early. Okay. One of the keys they always say is, you know, when you're running a business is collect early and pay late. Many companies, I used to deal with Walmart a lot. We had all the repairs for their oil pumps for like half the country for a while. And those guys wouldn't even think about paying you until somewhere around 90 days or 120 days. They just wouldn't. They didn't care what kind of discount you put on. If you offered them a 3% discount to pay early, they would take it anyway, and they'd pay you in 90 days. They just didn't care. And one of the reasons for that is when you're dealing in large amounts of money, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars in a company that size weekly. If they can hold on to that money and just stick it in the bank for an extra 90 days, imagine how much money that is, just even a low interest rate. So they try to pay as late as possible. And so you have people like this who are going to try to get you to pay as early as possible, and they will offer you a discount on that. Let's look at this one. So they ordered 43 sheets at $45.10. We bring all this over. We get an invoice subtotal, get a shipping charges, they get a shipping insurance. And then once we add all of that together, they say your warehouse management reports that there were 5 king size sheets and 4 queen size sheets returned, along with 2 packages of queen size pillowcases. Calculate the revised total. So you're going to take that, whatever number it was, times your unit price. And once you get all those, you're going to subtract it from your invoice subtotal here. And then add these things back in. 8% early payment discount. Now you get that on the revised invoice amount. Now, and you're not going to get your discount on your shipping charges or your insurance. Your early payment discount will only be on what you actually purchase. Okay. These numbers, they won't discount because many times, if you usually don't mark up shipping. We never marked up shipping at all. And if we did mark it up, it was just very, very, very little. Just a very small markup to cover our shipping costs. So shipping wasn't something we were looking to make our money off of, and a lot of companies don't. And the way shipping goes now, you can get all sorts of shipping deals. It's just like Amazon Prime. You pay, it was 99, I don't remember what it was this last year, but you pay the 119 or whatever it is a year, and you get free shipping on most of your items. For someone, you know, like me, that pays for itself in the first 3 months because of the way my orders from Amazon. So, you know, it's a good deal. Hey, don't smile, Violet. I trip over a box about every other day when I'm coming home.
So would she. She would if she wasn't paying attention on a daily basis.
I think Violet's guilty too, aren't you? Yeah.
Huh?
You guilty of that too?
No, my sister-in-law is though.
So, we're back to discount rates. All this should be pretty decent stuff. Now, when you see a discount rate like 45.3%, remember when you move it over 2 pieces left to turn it into a decimal, so you can actually put it in a calculator and utilize it, that becomes 0.543. Don't drop off any numbers. Don't try to do anything fancy. The other thing I've told a few people, I think they've seen it when they do the Ask the Teacher button, is don't round at the very end. Your answer should be rounded. Don't round everything else. Take it out as far as you can usually. Now you don't have to go crazy with it and take it out to 10 digits or anything, but do your best to, you know, do most of your rounding at the end. Because if you round at the beginning, then you round another number in the middle, and then you round another number somewhere else, you have a huge rounding error at the end, and your answer is going to be off by you know, quite a bit. So we always round at the end if at all possible. And we're running out of time. We got about 6 minutes left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up for questions, concerns, anything you guys think you might want help on, missed, want me to clarify on what we just discussed. You know, we can spend the next 5 minutes doing that. And if nobody has anything, then we'll just call it a night. And if you do and you want to wait till after, that's fine as well. All right, well, nobody's speaking up, so I'm going to stop the recording. Recording is